Hello everyone and welcome to a Static Grass Creation Studio update. Today I have a Spartan Games Dystopian Wars Republic of France Armored Clash Army. This is a commission and I'm not familiar with the game, but I've always liked the scale of these models and also the amount of detail on each of them. And we'll go take a closer look. So this is the closer look at the small tanks. So these are, these were really neat. They come in pairs on each of the bases. And they have a surprising amount of detail for their size. Like, the treads on the track are actually visible, and you can actually paint them individually. For the bases here, I did the standard flock and sand, but instead of static grass, I used regular green flock, and that seems to work pretty well as patches of grass at this scale. And here we have a Republic of France Tiny Flyer Squadron. As you can see, these are red in color scheme instead of the warm gray of the tanks. And this is a Republic of France Infantry Division token. Follows in, painting terms. It follows the same scheme as the tanks. The gray and then the silver. The blue is different. I still followed the standard scheme from Spartan Games. Here we have the Foucault R6 class medium tank for the Republic of France. As you can see, these 7 tanks here are the same. And it is considerably larger than the small tanks that I showed you before. Bases are the same. I did the sand and flock, green flock. For the tracks, I actually put this on all the tanks. This is a weathering pigment from Forge World. So it looks like the dirt's been stuck there for a while. It's been traveling for a long time, seeing things. These are the Reims light tank. Same thing as the R6, gray color scheme with the weathering powder here. This isn't on the R6 tanks, but this is the symbol for the country, Republic of France. Done with red and then tipped yellow. These ones are the Martiaux ACA 8 class bombards. Judging from the name and the look of the tanks, I assume that these have a little bit more firepower than, say, the Reims light tank. Just a guess, though. Taking a closer look. Again, same gray scheme. Highlights up here to really bring out the warm gray, really I was going for. A little bit of muzzle flash soot powder. These here are the Armoured Char 1C class medium tanks. Reading up on the backstory of the Republique, they use heat weapons, and these tanks utilize them, unlike the bombard and the light tanks and all that use regular cannons, I suppose. These ones have heat ray turrets, and they're magnetized. I magnetized them for the client, so then they actually turn like a turret should. Following the same scheme as the other tanks, as the rest of the army. The heat ray, though, is I went for a, I guess, more steampunk, well, following the steampunk look with the bronzes and having the red glow of the heat ray in there as well. These two big ones we have here are the Bastille N5 class landships, and I'm guessing that these are basically battleships with wheels because of how big they are in comparison to the other tanks, especially pretty humorous in comparison to the small tanks. They're humongous, they're like the size of city blocks. I think there was actually like a picture of Spartan Games with scenery on the table, a little town, and it took up a block of the town. Now these, obviously, with how big it is, they can pack in more detail, and they definitely did. The turrets up here rotate. I magnetized them, little tiny magnets. I don't know what this one does. I'm not sure what the application is. It's different. It's like a node rather than a turret. This one over here has two turrets, though. Over here, this the Landship also has a heat ray cannon thing. As for these smokestacks here, or the exhaust ports, or whatever they're called, I made a little bit more brass looking. Actually, same as the exhausts for the other tanks. I gave a little bit of a glaze of sepia over them to make them look more greasy or oily. This one here is the LSS Landship. This one has detachable magnetized tops here. They can either be a turret or, I'm guessing, a command post. It also has little broadsides on the side here. These smokestacks as well have been, I bronzed them a little bit, or made them look a little bit more greasy. And last but not least is the Mociel class mobile airfield. This model's humongous in the Dystopian Wars scale. Absolutely huge. It's like 3 times the size of the Landships. And as you can see, the fighters up here, absolutely humongous. Fighters are incredibly tiny, as it is an aircraft carrier on land. And we'll just go through the model here. So over here, same thing. I had the weathering pigment across here, and because it's so gigantic with the 2 sets of treads, I made it so that it looks like that it's moving. And from behind, where the aircraft are coming in from there, the tracks are trailing. I'm assuming that this thing, because it's so big, it's so heavy that it would leave that big of a trail anyway, and the tracks are that big. Yeah, this came, unlike the other tanks here, like even the Landships came basically in one piece. Aside from magnetizing turrets, this came in several pieces. Like the runway and the sides here were one piece, this up here was one piece, tracks were one piece, and underneath is another piece that you glue on. It definitely fills up the space, otherwise it would be completely empty and pretty flat underneath there. We'll zoom in a little bit on the runway. Again, with the wooden planks as the runway, rather than the asphalt that you see in modern aircraft carriers, or concrete. And also painted in landing strip, or a runway strip, for the guides, as the guides for the aircraft. There's a Republique of France symbol, and inside is actually more details. You can see the aircraft are being stored there, and there's that the elevator for the aircraft to go into for repairs or being deployed. Very detailed model. I was very happy to paint this one. Static Grass Creations is a professional miniature model painting and assembly company. Check us out at www.staticgrasscreations.com for more information. Set up a project today and let's bring some miniatures to life. If you like what you see, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe.